everybody? Henry Johnson here from Digital Home, and I have Rosario Mannino from RSMannino here with me for another episode of, we don't actually have a name yet, we're working on that. Rosario, why don't you give everybody a quick introduction to yourself and your company?
Sure. So my name is Rosario Mannino. I'm the principal at RSMannino Architecture and Construction. We're a full-service design build company. We primarily do single-family residential and some multifamily, hospitality, and light commercial work.
Awesome. So Rosario, so the whole point of this video series that we're doing is just to get to know the contractors and builders and designers in New York, New Jersey area, right? Mm-hmm. You and I obviously have met before, but a lot of people watching this may not have heard of you, right? So,
really?
so surprisingly so, right? I don't know what's up with them, but
come on, man.
We'll get them together.
Find me.
So at RSMannino on Instagram,
yep.
Find him there. But why don't you give us a little bit of a background on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So. How did you get into the design build space? Did you start, where'd you start with it? Mm-hmm. And did it start even further back than you getting into the business? Were you like interested as a kid? Like, just give us a little background.
Yeah, so I think like a lot of kids, a lot of architects, I guess you would say, like I love playing with blocks as you know, as corny as that may sound.
You're a Lego guy.
Yeah, Lego guy, blocks, actually sand, so
okay.
So my next door neighbor was a mason, and I loved going in his backyard and playing with, or his shop, and playing with his sand. I would ask him if I can go to the job site. He would let me carry bricks. How weird is that? Like I enjoyed like carrying bricks, and but I loved watching the process and being a part of it. So it actually started from a construction background first, where I said I really love watching and being a part of building something. So started with the construction, and from then I said, I want to, why are we doing the wall this way? Why are we doing that? And I was like, all right, I want to actually design this stuff. So then I started my research into being an architect. And then I said, well, wait, I don't want to just be an architect. I want to do both. So I was like, all right, let me do both.
Yeah. So your first job in this industry was, you were like working in construction, like building the walls, doing sheetrock. What was like your entry to the
So my entry to it was summers doing masonry, sweating a lot, doing a lot of hard work, and winters working for a cabinet maker, doing kitchen cabinets. And after high school, I worked for a framer, framing houses. I was really general contractor. We had a framing crew, so I'm not going to say I was a framer, but so that was one summer, and then after that, I went down to school down in Florida, in Palm Beach County, and I worked for a prominent architect down in Palm Beach County, doing some really cool stuff. Yeah.
So you've been through it all. You've kind of seen the entire aspect of building a house, essentially.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, from design, inception.
Every side.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it. That's to me the best part is being with a client from start to finish, and hand holding, so to speak, from the very start to the very end. So it's exciting.
Makes sense. Yeah. So is RSMannino is your first time going at it on your own? Is this your first business?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so when did you start RSMannino, and can you tell us about like your first memorable project in this space?
So we started 3 years ago. First memorable project. I would say that would be our first design build job. It was a little nervous, because I had done design for so long. I had done construction for so long. We're doing the two, and then doing it under my own company was definitely nerve-wracking. But it was great clients, which. They were great people, and it was nice to be a part of it, that they were open to it, and all said and done, it worked out well. But it was nice to have them on board, knowing that this was our first one. It wasn't an addition, it was a renovation, full gut renovation, and it was a fun job. It was at the time it was only a 2-person firm, just being one other person. So there's a lot of us working late at night, but that's why I guess it's so memorable, saying like, am I gonna be able to do this? Am I gonna be able to finish this? But we did. We pulled it off, and I was like, all right, we can do this.
So paint me a bit of a picture of it. Like, what was the house like when you started it?
Oh,
what did it finish like? And can you give us an idea of the style of the house, like what you kind of did to it from where it began?
So style, definitely lacked style, I'll say that. It was extremely dated. It was
before you got there.
Yeah. Before we got there, it was dated. There was nothing to like about it. I mean, wood paneling, very compartmentalized. It was an old home, pre-World War home, colonial home, where it was, kitchen was kind of, designed for, just the servants, almost, if you will. It was just like doors. It was closed off. So we said, let's open this up. So lots of structural steel in our first job, removing load-bearing walls.
Wow.
So we completely opened up the floor plan, and we redid the whole wood floors. We opened up ceilings. It was just like they dropped the ceilings. Like, why would anybody do this? We brought the ceilings back up. There wasn't too much exterior work to the job, that was, again, we can't be picky on our first job, so I'd like to go back. There's hopefully a potential phase 2, but the interiors came out awesome. I mean, we just, really nice trim package, really nice wood floors, really nice tile work in the bathrooms we did.
Awesome.
Nice kitchen. Yeah, it was full cut. It was really nice. And actually, unfortunately, we don't have photos of that. So
I was just about to say, we're going to try to get some pictures.
We don't have photos of that.
Rosario.
I got to get that photograph.
No. Well, no pictures coming your way, but we'll work on that. Or some other of his work. Or you can go check him on Instagram. So, in terms of your design style, how would you describe your preference? What's your favorite way to do design?
So, obviously I get asked that question a lot, right? What's my favorite style? And I like to say I don't have a favorite style. I like to say it depends on the client. I like to know my clients first, who they are, what they like, and I like to try to steer them to say, all right, if you like that, let me
give us an example.
Yeah, so a perfect example, right? Every client says, oh, here's my Pinterest board, here's my so I'm like, all right, I see the idea behind it, but I'm like, you know what? Architecturally, I see where you're going, but let me help with that. So what I mean by that is, the internet is a great and a bad thing, in my opinion, as an architect. Right? It's Google search can say, all right, let me type in shingle style or whatever. Yeah, everybody can type in something colonial, but unfortunately there's a lot of bad stuff out there too, right? So my idea is, all right, so you like Dutch colonial, right? Yeah. So I'll say, that's not the most successful Dutch colonial. Let's help each other out here. Let me show you a successful Dutch colonial project. So that's where I like to come in, and it's obviously more exciting when the client says, I don't have a style, I don't like a particular style. Those are great. So I would say my favorite style, if you had to say, would be shingle style. Shingle style. I love shingle style architecture. Okay. The most exciting projects are definitely the clients who say, I'm open to it. This is my travels I enjoy. This is this is how I grew up, and this is what I enjoy. And like to kind of put it all together and make it theirs. That
the kind of line of question you go down with somebody is like, what's their style, and from traveling to food and all that. You really dive in that deep.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a questionnaire for our new homes. We have a questionnaire. Where they ask some questions. Besides the generic, do you like to cook? We have those type of questions in there, or is it a show kitchen? So travels. Do you like dark, intimate spaces? Do you like bright, vibrant spaces? Do you like natural materials? Do you like metals? All that. It's pretty detailed.
Makes sense. I'd love to check that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Makes sense.
And there's some AV questions in there too. I need to get you to review. So AV questions I need to get you to review in that questionnaire.
There we go. So you mentioned Pinterest. Like, some people will bring Pinterest boards to you. What about you? Where do you go for inspiration? Do you have like a favorite Pinterest board, a favorite magazine, Instagram? I know that's kind of how we met.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked that question. I am not a big fan of I shouldn't say that. Pinterest is helpful when we're into design, right? But I would say my starting point is definitely books. I'm a book guy. I love books.
Old school.
Yeah, old school. There's something to be said about if a book is published, it must be great work, because there's an architectural or design board. Nobody. If your work is not successful in the design world, it's not going to get published, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right? So I should say unfortunately. Fortunately, it's not going to get published, right? So there's something to be said about there's good design out there in the Rizzoli's and the Images, all the good publishing companies, and so I like to do my research on who is a great designer historically and present, and why is it good design, and then that's kind of where I start, saying, all right, so this is my starting point. My client likes this, so this architect kind of researched that well, and that could be a starting point for us. And then from there, I like to go into the Pinterest and the house.
Okay. So any books like you would recommend, like somebody, it's like getting into design that they look at, or any other things that we.
It's so tough because I would say it's really tough because I'd say it depends, on what they're looking for. I have
favorite.
My favorite,
or something that you've gifted, to people. Just I really like Kligerman Barkley. They have 2 books.
Okay. Great books. They're shingle style, a contemporary shingle style, just great design. Interiors and architectural firm. Great stuff. Definitely wrap that up for a few people. So that's a great one.
All right. So switching gears just a little bit, but going back to the client side a little bit. So a lot of people watching this may be going into, gutting their house and remodeling, renovating, etc. What are things that, other than maybe just like looking at Pinterest and making that your design preference, any advice that you give to them, like don't do this, do this, or do this, don't do this? What are things that you see people making mistakes on, and how would you kind of go about it?
Yeah, I would just say is don't be sold so fast on the image. Like I just said, like the image is, photography does amazing things, and sometimes you have to look beyond that, glitty magazine, that bright magazine. It looks so beautiful, but I would say is do the research on why is this a great project. So I would say go back to the magazines, go to Architectural Digest and read about it. Why is this a great project?
Okay.
Something more about, go deeper than just the images. What I would say to somebody, don't just hop onto Pinterest or House. Pick up a magazine or a book, or the internet is fine, but just make sure you do more research. Is this appropriate? Is this really, is Mediterranean appropriate in New Jersey? These kind of things.
Yeah.
Like, I love this, but then when someone might read more about it, like, oh wait, maybe this isn't appropriate. Maybe I like this, but I could translate that into something else.
Okay.
So, and that's somewhere where you might be able to get out of reading an article or two before you just say, this is my Pinterest board.
Okay. So I have to ask because it just made me think of it. But why wouldn't something be appropriate? Are you saying like if it's like completely open design and we live in New Jersey, it's going to snow, so it may not make sense because it's just
you're getting me excited by these questions.
Yeah.
It's a great question. So architecture should be truthful. It should be functional. It's functional first, and then you find out what the problems are, and then you make it beautiful, right? So there's a reason why there's a low slope and deep overhang for an overhang, and but we don't want low slope, right? Because we have snow, right? So when someone says I want a Mediterranean, I'm like, all right, well, to truly do a Mediterranean properly here is a little difficult. Number one, means of construction. We have it, but it's going to cost you more money to have a terracotta roof, or it might not be appropriate here. Again, and I bring up Mediterranean because I've done so much right in South Florida when I worked for so long. So it makes sense more in Florida or in the Mediterranean, right? But over here, so that's where
the snow's too heavy.
The snow, it's just one example. But we have abundance of wood here, right? When we that's why colonial architecture is just more prominent because of the detailing and the people, the British who came here and brought their understanding of construction here. So it's kind of there's meaning behind it. Right? And I say colonial, but obviously it's nice to always transition or modernize, if you will, the colonial to what it is today. But yeah, that's
that's I did not know that. So that's helpful for me and probably some of the people watching. And then, so I mean, there's been a lot here, just kind of getting to know you. But when you look at yourself, right, there's a lot of different architects, design and build people, interior design, you know, the vast of what you're doing. What would you say separates you from, you know, people you're competing with on a day-to-day?
I would say number one, my background, being, you know, just being in construction for so long, being in architecture for so long, specifically residential architecture for so long, and being that we are a architect-led design build firm, so we are registered architects, licensed contractors. You know, we're not subbing out the architecture, we're not subbing out the management. We are the firm. You know, so it really is a single source. That's one, I would say, unique thing about us. And yeah, I would say those are the major things. I would just leave it at that. Yeah. We are a single source, and we specialize in design.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So in your day-to-day, you mentioned that on your questionnaire you have some AV questions. What do you see from clients? Are people asking about like technology in their homes and how are you approaching that?
Definitely, they definitely are. You know, one of the first questions I get is, or you know, like, how do you feel about wireless? I'm just and like, maybe I'm going back to old school or not. You tell me, but I'm like, you know what? Do the infrastructure, do it right. I have a speaker in every room in my house. I mean, that's me. Hardwired speaker. Yeah. There's something about just clean lines of just like there's no clunky speaker in my bathroom, right? Like I love having you know, whether it's invisible speaker or just a speaker in the ceiling and just that ambient music. I love it. So that's my first thing I like to tell clients when I talk about wireless. But yeah, they definitely ask for the AV. I mean, you know, this generation, right, as you know, we're younger generation building homes, so they're definitely asking for it. They're definitely, and that's kind of where I say, like, look, I like to bring in my experts because I know so much, but I would like to get, you know, the AV guy in as soon as possible. That's definitely what I tell them. Yeah, and, you know, they ask for, you know, the lighting, automated lighting, window treatments, you know, controlling it. You know, we have large windows, you know, skylights. How do you control that, right? AV, outdoor TVs, controlled timing stuff, where it's lighting. So yeah, they definitely ask about it. Yeah.
Awesome. And then from your side, so first off, that's awesome to hear that people are asking for it, and that you understand it, right? You have it in your house. I mean, that's a big thing with us is wireless has gotten better, the technology, but at this point, it's not to the point where I would say like do wireless speakers everywhere, right? Yeah. Because it's just that you're gonna have losses of sound, and nobody likes to listen to music and it keeps skipping, right?
Yeah, it's like once you close up that drywall, there's no going back.
Exactly.
I mean, there is, but you really want
way more expensive to do it while the walls are open than to try to do it later.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our big saying. Even if you don't put in the speakers, wire it, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we approach it.
Yeah, we do that.
And it's good to hear that you know, you guys are kind of going that direction too.
Yeah, definitely.
And then one other thing around technology, and this is kind of outside of what I'm talking for, you know, what Digital Home does, but I know technology is just influencing businesses a lot more, right? So inside of your business, maybe with the discussions with your clients, like how is technology affecting your business and how you run it?
Oh, major. It's to a great way, I think. Everything we do is three-dimensional. All of our projects are done in 3D virtual tours. So, you know, clients, you know, and it's funny because a lot of clients you can tell, not just say you can tell, some clients don't like to admit that they don't understand the plans, right? Yeah. So now it's like, you know, virtual tour. So, you know, we can do that easily. You know, so we've got the big screen.
Plans
TV.
aren't easy if you're not in the industry.
Yeah, you're right. And there's, like I said, there's some people who are just, I think, embarrassed to admit that they don't understand it. So we have TV in the conference room hooked up, you know, wirelessly, and we'll give them the virtual tour. We do a lot more photorealistic rendering, so it's definitely been a major change in our industry for the better. It's great, you know. It's just an extra way of us selling our design, so easier.
Yeah, and it shows that you're keeping up with the times, right?
Yeah.
I think that is important. Awesome. So. I think that's it for today. I think that's the main things that I wanted to cover. Cool. Anything that I didn't ask that you think we should have covered, or Where are you at?
I think that's good. No, you asked some great questions. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks. I
Awesome.
just appreciate you
Thanks,
interviewing me. It was a great show.
I appreciate you coming.
Yeah.
So, everybody, as you know, I'm Henry Johnson with Digital Home, and this is Rosario
Mannino, RSMannino.
RSMannino. At RSMannino on Instagram, at RSMannino.com is their website. So, everybody have a good one, and check us out. Peace.